Hey guys, yesterday I started playing a little bit of the WoW 0.5.3 alpha and I decided that I'm gonna record it, cut it together for you a little bit and yeah, voice over what's going on kinda. So for this playthrough, since all hardcore runs are all the rage these days and I haven't seen anyone do an alpha hardcore run, I decided that I'll just go and see how far I can get without dying, and if I do die then the series is over or I might start a new playthrough. So right now, as you can see, we have the character selection screen. And it looks a little bit different, but a lot of it is also the same. The Tauren model that's right on the screen right now is a bit different, as is the female troll model. It's absolutely hideous, whereas the orcs kind of look as you would expect them to. The classes are also more or less the same, except for there's no druids in this version. So what is the 0.5.3 alpha? Well, it's the first and oldest working version of the game that was released as part of the Friends and Family alpha test. And what's special about this is that the AlphaProject, which I'm linking in the description below, has a working server with working quests that you can play all the way up to level 25. Now, that's not to say that it's not a little bit rough around the edges. It certainly is. There's a lot of bugs, there's some pathfinding issues and missing textures and the like, but it's still quite fun to see what the game was and, you know, what their original intention might have been. So as we're loading into the game, you're gonna see the old loading screen, the very first one, the guy on the griffin, pretty iconic. As you can see here in the crypt, nothing much has changed. It's still the old start for the undeads. Just taking the first quest, talking to the Shadow Priest. Over there on the right, you could see the Binding Stone, which was actually the graveyard system before they had the spirit healers in place. I'm just showing off some of the skills. At level 6, priests would get a sleep spell, which basically works like a sheep, except that it doesn't replenish the HP of the affected unit. And that was later moved to the mage as a sleep spell at first, I think in version 0.7, which would have been one of the beta versions. And at this point, the priest still has it. So you can see here, I'm talking to the binder. Now my soul is bound to this stone. If I die, I will respawn here. But as I said, this is sort of a hardcore playthrough, just self-imposed. So that won't matter much. If we die, we die. And yeah, we're just starting off smiting those mobs, actually getting a pack, like a small blue pack on the first pouch, small blue pouch on the first mob, which is quite lucky. And as you can see here, the movement keys can be adjusted already in this version. And I gotta say, like, what I noticed from leveling priest, it's pretty strong. Like the smite doesn't take too much mana, I would say, and the damage is also pretty good. In terms of quests in the starting area, most of the main quests are in the game. The ones that are missing is where you collect the boxes around Death Knell, that's not in the game, and as well as getting Samuel Phipps's remains and burying them at Marla's grave. That quest also is not in the game. As you can see on the screen here, there is some special skills in the game. I have a skill set for Holy Magic, and with each cast I can increase my Holy Magic, which will then increase my chance of hitting with those spells, or let's say those spells not being resisted. And here on the screen right now we see the talent system. So leveling up only increases your hit points and your mana. Everything else you do through talents. As you can see here, I can either increase my stats or I can increase my magic talents, that being Holy or Shadow. I'm opting for, I think I will opt for the 2% crit on Holy Specialization. Actually, I didn't show it here, but yeah, oh, I didn't decide yet. Yeah, I'm going for a 2% crit because obviously 2% crit is a lot, and I remember needing a lot of intelligence for 1% of crit in WoW Classic, like the regular version. There's also some other stats. You can increase your armor, you can increase your regeneration, both mana and health, being two separate talents, and you have a wand specialization that either increases your chance to hit or the damage you do with wands. Now, as you can see, you can also do opt into holy power, I think it is, which increases your holy damage by 1, which doesn't seem super great to me. I'm just checking out the stats here. Strength seems to increase crit and attack power in this version, which is quite interesting. It doesn't specify if it's only melee crit or what, but I suppose it most likely is. If the game is laggy sometimes, then I do apologize. As I said, this is an alpha version, and as such, it could be a lot, well, more polished, obviously. But yeah, so this is the first issue of the game, really. The spawn pooling doesn't quite work, so sometimes you'll have two ads spawning in the same place, as is the case here. So I'm just checking if I can actually lure them out with the leash technique, where you damage one enemy and hope that it resets after the one that you didn't damage and just pulled alongside, which, as you can see here, doesn't seem to be working. So I'm just seeing now if I can reset the leash range by hitting them halfway through, because the last spell got resisted. So I'm just trying if I can split them up that way, which no, you also cannot. So we have to go in and do it normally, which might be a little bit sketchy. I mean, we're level 3 right now. We don't have so much going for us. We do have a stamina buff, which just gives us 2 stamina, which is 20 health, smite, and a lesser heal. But yeah, we even get a resist here, actually. Shouldn't be too much to worry about. Well, if it was, then, you know, you wouldn't be seeing this video, most likely. As I said, if I do die, then I will probably try a different race class combination. I did try this alpha out a year ago, I would say, when it first released, but back then there was no like normal server, so to speak. There was only a server where everybody had GM powers, and you could, you know, set your level to whatever you wanted it to be, and you could give you any items that you wanted to have, which was really fun to play around with. I'm definitely going to do a video on that where I actually go ahead and explore a lot of the areas in the game. So stay tuned for that. But as of right now, I'm more or less, you know, exploring, I guess you could say, the gameplay side of things on here. And even though we're already, yeah, so at this point, actually, I got tired of having to sit down for mana, so I went for the meditation talent, which increases your mana regeneration, as it says. I could not tell you exactly how much it increases by, but, you know, just gotta have faith that it does something, hopefully. And in this cave, you will notice that there's some issues with mobs sometimes disappearing in the ground. If there's elevation and ramps, then yeah, that's bound to happen every now and then. I think it's a private server core problem, not exactly an alpha problem itself. And yeah, here we have our first chest of the game, also left on the screen. I have a letter open that you start with. It's the letter that you normally get on level 2 for the class trainer quest that leads you to your class trainer. But you just start with that in your inventory in the alpha, which I found kind of interesting. We find frayed pants, which are exactly as good as the ones that I spawn with, so not much from that chest. And the reason I went deeper into this mine, as another mob actually despawns underneath the ground, is because I remembered that there was a Knight's Web matriarch in the back that had a special loot in the classic version. It's sort of a pseudo rare, maybe it even is a rare in the 1.12 version, I don't remember. And so we do get that one here. It's the Nightweb Matriarch, same model as the others. I think in Classic he's got a green model to set him apart. And as you will see in a second, he is about to drop a cloak, but the cloak is just a question mark and you can't equip it. So that's something that will happen quite a lot. As I try to exit the mine, I actually pull two at once because one of them spawns on me. So we almost die here, I think. But luckily we're playing a priest, so it should be all good. I will try to do a warrior playthrough. As a little spoiler, actually, I had ran into another guy playing the server who is playing a warrior yesterday night, and we were grouping up a little bit, even though, yeah, he's playing softcore and I'm playing hardcore, but look, I mean, we're basically the only two people on the server, and I would actually like for this to change, so that's why I'm gonna link the AlphaProject down below. There are some caveats on how you can actually play. Well, if you want to play on the server set up by the developer, then you know you have to check the Discord on how to achieve that. But the core itself is free for anyone to set up, basically. Something that you will notice in this alpha version is that whenever you're fighting casters, it's a little bit more sketchy. They seem to be more powerful than just the normal mobs. Yeah, we're just, you know, basically going through the starting area normally is the Red Messenger quest. You kill the named Scarlet Mob, and after that's done, we will move on to Brill itself. I will say that, I'm really enjoying this. Like, I wish that, yeah, and I'm not sure if I mentioned already, but there is a level cap at 25 for the 0.5.3 alpha that was raised, I think, in the next test version. So as of right now, you can only go to level 25, and we're gonna see if we can be the world first level 25 hardcore on WoW Alpha. Something else, the rattle cage skeletons that are next to the boxes that you collect in the 1.12 version have a different model here. I just wanted to include that real quick. Also, the 3 guys that were, I think, named after developers on the Blizzard team, they're here, but as I said, there's no quest for them. As you exit the Brill area, there's also no guide that leads you to the inn, as innkeepers and hearthstones are not available yet. But that dude that has you collect the pumpkins for the apothecary is already in the game. As you can see, there is also no option of skipping quest text, so you have to sit through that a little bit. There are, however, if you are interested in playing, a couple of add-ons by the guy that's developing / reverse engineering this 0.5.3 version, such as auto loot and I think some other amenities. But yeah, I'm not gonna play that because I'm here for the real experience. Something you will also notice is, first off, your swing timer doesn't reset while you cast. At this point, I haven't noticed that yet. As you can see, I'm not engaging my swing timer at all. I'm just casting away, but on later levels I will notice that and I will start hitting and casting. You can't hit while you cast, but once your cast goes through, you're gonna hit. And other than that, if you move, you will reset your swing timer. So, or, well, is that the correct? Well, yeah, I guess that's the correct definition. You reset it, that means like after moving, you have to wait however long it takes for your weapon to hit before you get the next swing, which is pretty annoying. Something else to mention is that you can't actually cast and move at the same time. Oh yeah, these are the racial abilities. So you have underwater breathing, unlimited underwater breathing as an undead. Not like a longer timer or anything, and you are immune to fear, charm, and sleep. It's not an active, you are always immune. As you can see here, the run almost ends once again because I was busy daydreaming of running SFK at level 25 with 4 other people, which seems quite unlikely seeing as I have about 8 hours played and I only ran into 1 guy. He is a warrior though, so maybe we can 2-man it. This is interesting, I think. The guy on the horse has a old Forsaken model, I would say. His face is quite distinct. The horse itself looks like the Warlock horse, by the way. And yeah, as we enter Brill, I'm just accepting all the usual quests, turning in the quest at the apothecary, and probably I will also take up a profession. Fun fact, you can have as many professions as you like. You just spend skill points on them, which you gain just as you gain talent points as you level up. So interestingly enough, there's a recipe here that doesn't do anything but costs you 1 silver. So be careful when you actually try this version and you go for professions. Some of these things are a little bit buggy and they're gonna, yeah, this one, that's the recipe. It's 1 silver and it won't do anything. It won't give you the recipe, it won't teach you the skill. It's just bugged out, I think. But anyway, since I'm playing hardcore, I opt into alchemy and herbalism, and actually, there's no cooldown on pots. Like there's like a 10-second cooldown maybe, so that's pretty cool. And the herbalism skill itself, as you can see here, you have to spam it. It only lasts a minute. So yeah, I'm turning in the quests and that's gonna be it. So I hope you enjoyed this first one and I'll bring another one to you tomorrow probably. Thank you for watching.